If you have even $1 in the stock market right now, you are in immediate danger. The rules didn't just change, the board was flipped over. Donald Trump has officially confirmed Jerome Powell is out. That part was expected, but the replacement? That's the nightmare scenario Wall Street never priced in. The moment the name hit the wire, stocks started dumping. Gold and silver took a historic nosedive. The era of easy money just died. And the collapse everyone feared may have been triggered by the one man nobody expected. Your portfolio is now sitting in the crosshairs, and you need to understand exactly what just happened. Normally, chaos creates opportunity. This time feels different. Trump's new pick for the Federal Reserve is Kevin Warsh. You may not know his name yet, but Wall Street is terrified of him, and for good reason. Rewind to 2008. The financial system was on fire, banks collapsing, markets imploding. The Fed was panic printing money, throwing bailouts everywhere to stop the bleeding. Kevin Warsh was there. He was a Fed governor, and while everyone else was flooding the system with cash, he was the guy saying no. He hated the bailouts. He warned that free money would destroy the dollar. In the middle of the worst crisis in generations, he wanted to keep interest rates high. Let that sink in. While the economy was burning, he chose the hard road. Fast forward to 2011. The Fed wants to print another $600 billion to prop up housing. Warsh fought it hard. He called the benefits tiny and the risks massive. And when he realized he couldn't stop the printer, he didn't complain. He quit. He resigned. That tells you everything. He would rather walk away than compromise his principles. Even in 2022, he came out swinging. He said the Fed waited too long to raise rates, said they lost all credibility. He believes quantitative easing is poison. He thinks it creates bubbles, enriches the wealthy, and crushes normal people. His philosophy is brutally simple. Higher rates, slower growth, stronger dollar. That is the exact opposite of what Wall Street was betting on. Here was the script for 2026. Trump wins, Trump bullies the Fed, rates go to zero, printer goes burr, stocks explode, everyone gets rich. That was the dream. This appointment destroys that dream. This is the Trump paradox. Trump spent years screaming for lower rates. Investors believed the party would never end. We thought we'd inflate our way out of debt. Big Macs would cost $100, but our stocks would be worth millions. That fantasy just died. Kevin Warsh is expected to do the unthinkable. He's willing to crash the economy to save the dollar. He wants to turn off the money tap, shrink the Fed's balance sheet, stop the US from becoming a failed currency state. Just weeks before the election, someone asked him what he'd do as Fed chair. His answer chilled investors. He said policies that help stockholders hurt people living paycheck to paycheck. Read between the lines. He's saying, I will hurt the stock market to help the working class. He's willing to pop the bubble. Markets don't just hate uncertainty, they hate promised pain, and this leadership is promising pain. But here's the twist. The story gets stranger. Suddenly, the Kevin Warsh of 2026 sounds different from the Kevin Warsh of 2008. The man who hated cheap money is now talking about lowering rates. He's saying housing needs relief. He wants mortgages affordable again. He's pitching himself as Trump's ally. So ask yourself this, did he really change? Or is this a Trojan horse? Is he saying what Trump wants to hear just to get the job, only to revert once he's in power? It doesn't matter what's in his heart. It matters what the market believes. And right now, the market is terrified of a strong dollar. To understand why, think like Trump. Trump wants a weak dollar. That sounds backwards, but it isn't. A strong dollar makes US goods expensive. The world buys elsewhere. A weak dollar turns America into the discount aisle. Exports surge. Factories run. Stocks rise. Debt becomes easier to manage. Trump wants inflation to win the trade war. Kevin Warsh wants a strong dollar to save the currency. These two goals are on a collision course. An unstoppable force meets an immovable object. This is a volatility machine. The days of stocks only going up are over. The safety net is gone. For a decade, investors lived by one rule. Buy the dip, the Fed will save us. That rule is dead. The Fed is not coming. We are entering a financial kill zone. Whether Warsh obeys Trump or goes rogue, the result is chaos. And in chaos, you either make a fortune or you lose everything. But before offense comes defense. You can't fight if you're already bleeding. When the global economy goes unstable, the only thing you truly control is your personal economy. If you don't know exactly where your money is going right now, you're walking blind into a minefield. That's why I use Rocket Money. This isn't just an ad, it's a shield. I've used it every day for years. It's the command center for my net worth. It pulls all my accounts into one screen so I can see the damage in real time. Most people are bleeding money and don't even realize it. I call them vampire expenses. Just the other day, I found a subscription I completely forgot about. It renewed quietly and the price had jumped 50%. I never would have noticed. Rocket Money flagged it instantly and I killed it on the spot. And they don't just track spending, they fight for you. They scan your bills, internet, phone, cable, and their negotiators actually call the companies to lower your rates. Real humans, real pressure. They've saved users over $740 a year and canceled more than $880 million in unwanted subscriptions. That's real money that belongs in your pocket, not some corporation's balance sheet. Stop bleeding cash. Click the link or go to rocketmoney.com/sharkgrant. It's free to start. Do it before this video ends. Now back to the war room. We know the players, we know the stakes. Now we need the playbook because the next few months are going to create a very narrow window of opportunity. If you understand what happens next, you can front-run the market instead of reacting to it. Here's the truth nobody tells you. Markets don't crash because of bad news. They can handle bad news. Profits down? Fine. Prices adjust. What markets cannot handle is uncertainty. Markets are control freaks. They need to know what happens next. When they can't predict the future, they panic and sell everything just to feel safe. That's exactly what's happening right now with Kevin Warsh. He's a giant question mark. Is he loyal to Trump or independent? Is he cutting rates or hiking them? Nobody knows. And because nobody knows, everyone runs for the exit. But here's the thing about market panics. They're almost always wrong. The market is a drama queen. It overshoots in both directions. When times are good, people buy like money is infinite. Prices go way too high. When times get scary, people sell like the world is ending. Prices go way too low. The pendulum never stops in the middle. So breathe. Look at the data, not the emotions. Every single year, the stock market drops. Even in the best years ever, there are pullbacks of 10 to 20%. That's the price of admission. Charlie Munger had a brutal rule. If you can't handle a 50% drawdown without panic selling, you don't deserve great returns. The math agrees. Over the last 45 years, the S&P finished positive in 34 of them, a 75% win rate just for staying in the game. But what if this time is different? Fine, let's assume the worst. Full recession, big crash. History says the average recovery time is 1 to 2 years. That's it. If you're investing long-term, 2 years is nothing. The losing move is selling now and hoping to buy back lower. You have to be right twice. Nobody is. So how do you actually win in 2026? The answer sounds stupidly simple, but it's psychologically brutal. Imagine walking into an Apple store. Yesterday, the iPhone cost $1,000. Today, Tim Cook says, panic sale, $500. Do you cry? Do you run? No, you buy two. You celebrate. So why do people do the exact opposite with stocks? When Amazon or Google drops 50%, people panic. Nothing broke, only the price changed. If you don't need the money for 10 or 20 years, today's price literally doesn't matter. The best investors on earth don't fear crashes. They wait for them. Buffett waits. Munger waits. They sit on cash like snipers while everyone else panics. And right now, people are panicking. But mindset alone isn't enough. You need to know what survives the crash. You can't just throw money at garbage and pray. One sector is about to get destroyed. Another is setting up for an explosion. Stop thinking like a victim. Market drops are not a glitch. They're part of the contract. You sign up for the gains, you accept the pain. As long as you aren't gambling your life savings on nonsense, history is on your side. Here's the pattern I've watched for almost a decade. Greed comes first, FOMO. People chase anything moving. Prices detach from reality. Then the music stops. Fear takes over. And fear is stronger than greed. People dump good assets at terrible prices. Do not be that person. You cannot predict the future. The only way to guarantee you don't miss the next leg up is to stay on the ride. Don't unbuckle while the roller coaster is moving. Drops are gifts. The Great Recession destroyed lives, but for investors with cash, it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I bought a house in California for $70,000. That sounds insane now, but it happened. Same thing in 2020. Markets crashed. I was buying. Same thing in 2022. Bitcoin hit 16,000. Everyone called it dead. I was buying. Why? Because I didn't need the money that day. Now, about Kevin Warsh. Here's my controversial take. He's not going to fight Trump. Trump is the boss. He fired the last guy for not cutting fast enough. He's not hiring someone who's going to do the opposite. Different words, same goal. Trump wants markets up. Warsh wants the job. But here's the warning, a big one. Warsh is not infallible. In 2007, right before the entire system collapsed, he said everything was fine. He was wrong. Everyone paid. Experts can be wrong. Presidents can be wrong. Charts can be wrong. The only real safety net is time. If you own quality assets for 20 years, this noise becomes a blip on an upward chart. But knowing when to buy is only half the game. You also need to know what to buy. Because if Warsh screws this up and we enter a lost decade, there is one specific asset class that has historically made investors rich while everyone else falls behind. And that's what we're going to talk about next.